Do you want to know more about detailing and weathering locomotives? Why don't you stick around and watch this segment, see how we do it on my Skill Model Railroad, this area secondary. Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey Conrail and Scale, and welcome back to the Locomotive Shop. So this time in the Locomotive Shop, I'm going to be working on MP15s. So I kind of really like end cab switchers. I think they got a brutish look to them. Conrail had some that they used in the industrial areas of North Jersey. So I had acquired an MP15 a while ago. Gave me some trouble, stopped running. I was able to pick up two more on the internet, and so that brings me to today. So the MP15 is a 1500 horsepower end cab switcher. Conrail acquired about 11 of them from the Reading Railroad after Conrail Day 1, and they were Reading had them under lease from EMD. So Conrail assumed the lease. They couldn't work out a deal, and so they gave them back to EMD at the end of the lease. So this group of locomotives that I have, the decoders are already installed. I bought them that way, so we're not going to be going over decoder install. I just want to sit down and do some weathering with you and show you some of the techniques that I'm using for weathering and get these units all up and ready to go on the layout. So let's head over to the bench and get to work, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay, so these are my three MP15s. So we're going to go ahead and work on these today. 9626 was the original. The motor and bearings just took a crap on me. So instead of ditching the unit, what I did was I opened it up and I stripped it out. I removed the motor, the drive shafts and everything. So now it's a freewheel chassis and I got an unpowered dummy. So we're going to take the time to go ahead and weather this up today too. So I figured this was just a better option to do instead of tossing the unit. So we'll put this aside and we'll get this weathered up today. Now these two units are the two units that I purchased. They have decoders already installed, so we're not going to be going over the decoder install. I merely want to weather these up, and I also want to change out the couplers. I'm going to change the couplers out using the pre-assembled University body mount couplers from Microchains. So we'll do that before we get started with the weathering, and then so this way we can weather the couplers up as well. So all we do is we pull the screw out and we hold on to it. I use the same screw that comes with the Locomotive. Push the coupler out like that. Get rid of those Accumate from Atlas because I'm really not crazy about them, and we'll put these Microtrains on. It's like one of the quickest and easiest projects you can do to improve your operations. Push and it's in there. Now I'm using these universal mounts. This is 1015-1s, and these are like the perfect fit for the Atlas locomotives. They fit in pretty much all the Atlas locomotives. Now when you're putting this Atlas screw in, it may be a little tight at first, but once you run it down in there, it'll loosen up. The other thing is what I do is I hold the coupler or box with a pair of pliers. Keep it from turning. Let me turn this way. You don't have to you don't have to really torque down on these screws. They just need to be firm. And there you go. Quick and easy way to improve your locomotive. Alright, so now we'll get the other one done and we'll get ready for weathering. Okay, so our coupler's installed. What I'm going to do now is I have two units of the same. I'm going to break them up at the same time. So I'm going to label, put a little piece of tape here, and I'll put the parts in on each side. This way I don't mix up the chassis because the decoders are already programmed. So these chassis are a little too tight, then my little case trick is not working. If you look, they're like not releasing. So what you got to do is stick your hobby knife right onto the front and kind of just lift a little bit, and do the same in the back. Like that. Because they got these little frame rails on there, you can kind of put your knife in there and kind of pry it. Alright, so now I'm going to prep the chassis to get going. So what I'll do is I'll mask off all the windows. Alright, so we got the windows all taped up. I made up some engine black. Now we're going to go ahead and hit these grills. Just darken them in a little bit. That was a good save. See how it started to run down, I was able to scoop it up. When your brush is kind of empty, you can kind of use it to wick all the excess up. That's why I like doing this technique. Alright, we'll let that set up. Awesome, that looks great. We'll put that aside, we'll let that set up while we get, and I'll start getting the booth ready. Alright, so our engine black is all dried up. I got my airbrush all set up with AccuFlex sand, or Modelflex sand, excuse me. Thin with like 3 drops of alcohol in my paint cup. And now I'm just going to go ahead and give the whole chassis a light dusting. Okay, so there you go. That's how we did it. Very happy with the outcome. They came out really good. The project only took a day. Started in the morning, wrapped it up by the afternoon. Now, that one unit, so when it died, I had it on the bench, really wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, and when I sat down right before this project, I said, you know what, let me just gut it out, and we'll make it a dummy. So I like that, put it in the engine house, and I can tie it into a consist and kind of fill it out. So overall, happy with the decision to keep that. Detail-wise, not many details to add to these units. Conrail had them pretty plain Jane. They didn't have cab signals. The pictures I saw, I couldn't even see any antennas, so I'm not really sure about that, so I kind of left that detail alone. Weathering-wise, just stuck with the Model Flex sand to fade the paint down a little bit, darkened in the grills, used some Bragdon weathering powders. I did seal the Bragdon weathering powders with dull coat this time, so that's working out really well. If you kind of overdo it with the powders just a little bit, where you think, oh, that's a little too much, when you hit it with the dull coat, it brings it down just a notch, so it works out perfectly. I kind of got my science, I got it down to a science now, so yeah. And then handling, don't have to worry about rubbing off the powders anymore. So I like that. It's working out really good for me. And so that's all I have for you this time in the Locomotive Shop. Be sure to tune in next time when we're going to be working on my GP15-1s. I have 3 of those again that need to be weathered up. I got to add some details this time around, so keep an eye out for that episode. And so that's all I have for you this time on the Locomotive Shop. If you're seeing this episode for the first time, you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel because I'm always posting up free content like this. We'd love for you to follow along. Make sure you check out my Facebook page and Instagram account because I'm always posting daily updates. Otherwise, that's all I have for you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.